Hello friends, welcome to Task Quiz. My name is Inga Goodwin and today we are going to explore the commutative property. The commutative property states that when you do a math operation between two numbers, you will get the same answer no matter which number you start with. Now, the commutative property is not true for all math operations, so we're going to find out whether this is true for addition and whether it is true for subtraction. So we are going to start with addition. Does it matter which number I start with when I add? Will I get the same answer? If I get the same answer, no matter which way the numbers add, then the commutative property is true for addition. If I don't get the same number when I add two numbers, then the commutative property does not work for addition. So we're going to use our trusty number line here to find out whether this is true for addition and subtraction. So let's start with addition. We're going to add the numbers 4 plus 3. And I'm going to use my bouncy ball here on my number line to help us add. So let's find out what I get when I start with the number 4 and add 3. So on our number line, we're going to start at 4 and we're going to go to the right 3 places. 1, 2, 3. And I end up at the number 7. That is my answer. So 4 plus 3 equals 7. Now we're going to find out what if I start with the number 3. So I have the same numbers, 4 and 3, but now I'm starting with 3. Will I get my same answer when I add them together starting with 3? So we're going to start with number 3 and we're going to add 4. So we're going to go forward on the number line to the right 4 places. 3 plus 4. You ready? We got 3. And then we're going to go forward 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I end up at the number 7 again. So it does seem to work, doesn't it? Well, what if I switch the numbers to other numbers? Let's try it. Let's experiment with some other numbers. We're going to start with 6 and 2 now. What if when I do 6 and 2, if I start with 6 and I add 2, will I get the same answer as when I start with 2 and add 6? So we're going to start with 6 and add 2. So here we are, our bouncy ball is at 6, and then we're going to go forward 2 places. So here we are at 6, and then 1, 2. I end up at the number 8. So 6 plus 2 is 8. Now what if I switch the numbers around and start with 2? So here we are, our bouncy ball is going to start at 2, and we're going to go forward on the number line 6 places. So 2, and then we're going to go forward 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I end up again at the number 8. And so when you test this with other addition combinations, you're going to find out that when you do addition, you will get the same answer no matter which number you start with these two numbers. 6 and 2, 2 and 6, it will still give you, when you add them together, you'll get the same answer of 8. And so with that, we can say that the commutative property, yes, is true for addition. Okay, so the commutative property is true for addition. What about with subtraction? Is the commutative property true for subtraction? Well, we're going to use these same numbers, but we're going to do subtraction between them, and we're going to find out, do we get the same answer when we switch the numbers around? So let's start with the number 4, and we're going to subtract 3. So we're going to use 4 and 3. 4 minus 3, what will we get? So we're going to start our bouncy ball at 4, and we're going to go to the left 3 spaces to represent subtraction, okay? So here we go. We start at 4, and we're going to go 1, 2, 3 on our number line to the left, and we get to the number 1. So 4 minus 3 is 1. What about if I switch those numbers around and I start with 3 and I want to subtract 4? Will I get the number 1? Let's find out. So we're going to start at 3 and we're going to go to the left 4 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4. I end up at the number -1. Now I want you to see on the number line, -1 is a different number than 1. And another way to say 1, we say +1. These numbers would be positive and these numbers are negative. So -1 is not the same as 1 or +1. So we didn't get the same answer. What about when we use 6 and 2 and we subtract them? Does it matter which number I start with? Will I get the same answer or a different answer? So we're going to do 6 minus 2. We're going to start with the number 6 and we're going to go to the left 2 places. Ready? 6, and then we're going to go 2 places to the left. 1, 2. So we end up at number 4. So 6 minus 2 is 4. What about 2 minus 6? Will I end up with 4 as my answer if I switch these numbers around? Well, we're going to start with the number 2 and we're going to go to the left 6 places for subtraction. So here we are at number 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wow, look at that. I end up at -4, which, as you can see on our number line, is very different from the number 4, isn't it? So I don't end up with the same answer. So with subtraction, does the commutative property work? Can I switch the numbers around and get the same result? I won't say false. We'll just say no, it doesn't work. No, it doesn't work, right? So with subtraction, the commutative property does not work, but with addition, it does work. Okay, so I want you to prove that to yourself as well. I want you to take a couple of numbers, different numbers, you pick whatever numbers, and make sure you have a number line, and run those numbers on the number line and see what you get. Does it work? And what you'll find out, no matter the combination of numbers that you use, when you add together two numbers, it doesn't matter which number you start with, you will always get the same result. This is the commutative property. But when you subtract two numbers, it does matter which number you put first because you will not get the same result. So commutative property does not work for subtraction. Okay, that is lesson 1 on the commutative property.